This was a study that was done by Glenn Begley, B-E-G-L-E-Y. He was actually the head of global cancer research of the drug giant Amgen. And Amgen is one of the top 5 drugs. He came out and he started to really say, man, this is just like amazing. I don't know if he saw his spirit go away or something like that, but he published in Nature, which is a drug journal, so this isn't something that's outside the alternative field like that. He started to go back and saying, okay, we all as scientists and as drug researchers go, we use older studies to understand about how things kind of work. Well, he actually went back and and that's what he called this, is what's called landmark studies. These are the studies that started chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and everybody just establishes like, okay, that's our foundation and that's where we work from. He found that 88% of those have never been reproduced and have not been reproduced, which means in science, that's not real science. That was just a guess, that was maybe something else. So this is something, as in the article here, stated, cancer industry total fraud exposed. Nearly all scientific studies fail to be replicated. This is big stuff. I mean, we're talking about, there's not even a question of whether or not this is actually science. This is just an ugly experiment, and these doctors, especially in the cancer industry, scare so many people, they have nothing to stand on. They don't have any science. Now, if they want to tell you that this is experimental, I don't know what this is, but all this BS about, how it helps you and, extending life is, once again, based on nothing. And so this is a big deal. Unfortunately, you really have to dig deep here. As this Dr. Begley stated, said, these are the studies the pharmaceutical industry relies on to identify new targets for drug development. So once again, these are the basic foundations of what they assume, just like the basic foundation at one time was that the Earth was the center of the universe. Well, people made all kinds of concepts and theories behind it, but it was fraud. I mean, it wasn't fraud, but it was false, and that's the same thing here, is they're based on no type of science. As we tried to reproduce these papers, we became convinced that you can't take anything for face value. So here's a guy that works in the industry, he's a scientist, understands that, this is possibly, why? Well, back in 2009, from the University of Michigan Comprehensive Cancer Center, once again, these are mainstream type of research centers like that. Because I always get criticized, well, Dr. Noah, you really like natural foods and things like, yeah, well, that's because we have good science to show that's where. But you've got I don't have an agenda. I'm just telling you the facts. The people that are telling you this are just lying to you. They, in 2009, University of Michigan revealed that most of the cancer studies to be false. And as could be expected, one of the primary causes of the false results were determined to be conflict of interest that tended to favor findings. So they tweak statistics to make these drugs work, or x-rays work, or these surgical procedures work, when they really don't work, because they make lots of money off of it. And that's just very, very sad, is that there's a whole trillion-dollar industry. People are scared out of their wits. People be walking and making quilts and donating all this money into a field that has, once again, it's at best voodoo. I mean, it just has no type of benefit in terms of our society. It's kind of very, very sad. So once again, go if you have someone that's in the cancer industry, just ask them, Doc, how come, I thought you told me you're a scientist. Where's the science on this? And have them go back, once again, April 2012. I know it has to be cutting edge, and I'm sure your doctor hasn't read any science for probably about 50 years. And find out, see what kind of song and dance they give you on that one. Very, very disturbing, very revealing, is the whole foundation of cancer treatment is false.